guilty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? This is not even my time to go on, but I'm coming on a little bit early to talk about Stephan Sterns' plea hearing set for CSAM abuse and material. Murd3r case linked to Madeline Soto, guys. Welcome. Come on and hit that like button. We're going to be here for a minute. There is, in fact, a plea deal being offered, folks. So I kind of got you guys ready for that. I've been talking about it since last week to kind of get everybody prepared so that we can have the tough conversations and it won't hit so hard when they happen, which is right now, guys. It's happening right now, and then it's happening on Monday. So here we go. And it's not like I want him to get out of anything by any means, but I've told you that we over here, I say me, from Jay from Guilty of Crime, does not want to have to cover the case and read all that stuff. I do want to know what happened, but I don't want to know what happened so hardcore. Yes, I'm serious, Michelle. I'm being as serious as I've ever been. So, yeah. All right. Hello from Texas. Anna from St. Cloud. Sandra, good to see you. Kel, what's up? You guys got it right. So I tried to prepare everybody this last week, and here we go. So I'm going to drop this down and let's read it together. Stephan Sterns' plea hearing, guys, set for SA, and then Murd3r. It's linked to that. So it's linked to that case. He's linked to two cases, but they are in fact offering that. I am not covering Stephan Sterns' topic the whole time. I am covering it right now, and then we're going to hop off onto my other stream. Sudi, thank you so much, but I just wanted to let you guys know I wanted to document it here. Yeah, I do wish #ArrestJen Soto, but it's here, guys. It's here. I told you July 22nd, the trial begins. 4 jurors, but guess what? Monday. Stephan Sterns' plea hearing set for the CSAM trial, okay? So today, July 18th, 6:33 p.m. over there in Florida, okay? It's only for the CSAM. The only reason it says anything about the Murd3r case is because Stephan Sterns is on trial. He will be on trial for both of those. All right. Thank you, Pepper, for being a member for 6 months. Love Guilty of Crime. All right. So Barbie G, we love you. You guys do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. All right. So that's what we're talking about right now. I still have another stream, and we're going to talk about whether or not is it a serial killer or a teenage boy? All right. That's what we're talking about. But right now, guys, Stephan Sterns is in fact getting offered a plea deal. All right. And it doesn't matter if it's only in one article. I'm going to tell you confidently right now that the people are going down to the courthouse on Monday to see it in person. All right. So it is happening, and I'm going to read it to you right now. All right. Osceola County, Florida, a plea hearing which is a plea deal, guys. The state is offering a plea to Stephan Sterns, a plea hearing for Stephan Sterns, linked to the CSAM, and he's linked to the red rumming of Madeline Soto, has been scheduled for Monday. Now, I do have to say, I'm not sure if they're offering, the way I'm reading this, I'm not 100% sure that they're only offering it for the CSAM. So let me continue reading it and I'll let you know. All right. So Sterns is facing two separate criminal cases, one for red rum and the other for 60 counts related to the sex abuse. The plea hearing, listen guys, listen close. The plea hearing is scheduled for Monday at 1:30 p.m. Not Pacific Standard, Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Eastern at Osceola County Courthouse. Now, if you're there, if you're in that area, you should go to that hearing if you can. I know people that are going to the hearing and they're going to hopefully report back to me. The trial relating to the CSAM is scheduled to begin Tuesday when jury selection is expected to begin. Opening arguments are slated to start on my birthday, July 25th. All right. State is seeking the death penalty against Stephan Sterns in the Maddie Soto case for taking her life. 13-year-old Soto was reported missing last year after failing to show up at Hunters Creek Middle School the day after her 13th birthday. Her body was later discovered on the side of the road in Osceola County. Kissimmee police said her mom's boyfriend Sterns took her life. If Sterns is found guilty of Soto's red rum, he could face the death penalty. Madeline Soto case, Stephan Sterns seeks to block key evidence. That was dismissed. And there we go. All right. So he is being offered a plea deal at this point. And we did speculate about that this week. All right. So what's up, everybody? Good to see you. We do have another streamer rolling into. What's up, Krista? Callie says, wonder what amount of time they're offering him. Now, let's speculate a little bit, guys. We did talk about this. We've all been prepared for Stephan Sterns taking a plea deal, right? All right. We've all been prepared. And what I can say about that, my best educated guess on this, guys, is that they're going to offer him they're going to offer him a life in, they're going to offer him an LWOP, or maybe if it's not life without the possibility of parole, maybe it is 25 years to life with the possibility of parole. But then once he gets tried for the red rum, then he's going to get the death penalty, which would mean he will never, ever, ever get out, guys. That's what that means. Yeah, life without parole. So I'm taking educated guesses here. I did guess this last week. I tried to give you guys a bunch of hints and guesses and nudge, nudge, wink, wink about Stephan Sterns getting a plea deal. All right. They are offering a plea deal. Now, plea deals are not made. Plea deals are not made, guys. They're not made by anybody except the prosecution. Now, the defense can say to the prosecution, hey, I know there's a lot of evidence. We don't want to drag the family through this. Can we possibly work out a plea deal? And the prosecution can say, hell no, what you've done to this family is an injustice, and we're going to put you on trial, and you're going to get the full extent. But in this case, it's a lot of CSAM material, all right? A lot of CSAM, 35,000 plus images coming in after that gag order. Not the gag order, I'm thinking of Brian Cooper, about after everything was said and done and all of the Google pics came in. I believe the state was waiting for the pictures to be in. Now, think about this. If the pictures would have been suppressed, if the motion would have been granted and the 35,000 pictures were suppressed, we wouldn't be here right now. There would not be any type of plea deal. But I do want you guys to understand a little bit here. I want you to not feel like it's a loss. All right. I want you to feel like Catherine says if he gets a death penalty, he still gets commissary while you're on death row. But there's really nothing else you could do. I mean, outside of the justice system, what is it you recommend? My best bet was for him to get a plea offer, and then the next step is for him to take a plea offer and then go right into the trial for taking Maddie's life, which is he's facing the death penalty. But I'm wondering, I'm wondering, guys, I'm wondering if they're going to offer him a plea deal. And part of the plea deal would be LWOP, but it can be put into the red rum trial as an aggravating factor. And then maybe they won't, maybe they'll just go for LWOP without. I'm wondering if they're trying to roll in one to the other. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Jennifer B. Hello, JNO. Sources say the plea deal would mean life in prison as opposed to risking a death sentence if he goes to trial, which they're still doing they're still absolutely doing a trial in the red rum case unless something happens there and then they get LWOP for both. All right. Sherry Helton, good to see you. Everybody else. Sid says, does this mean red rum move up? No, they're not going to move it up at all. They're not moving anything up. As a matter of fact, the red rum trial might get moved out depending on the circumstances of the plea deal. All right. So this is not going to affect Jen, but what it is going to affect is that there won't be anybody that is on the witness list that was subpoenaed. That means Jen Soto doesn't have to face the court the first time around. That's what it means. Suzanne, hello. So let me read this one more time since people are late. Stephan Sterns plea hearing set for the CSAM. And he's connected to Madeline Soto case in the red rum trial, right? Osceola County, Florida, a plea hearing, which is a plea offer for Stephan Sterns, linked to the CSAM abuse and obviously taking Maddie's life, has been scheduled for this coming Monday. Sterns is facing two separate criminal cases. One is for taking Maddie's life, and the other are the 60 counts related to the abuse and the CSAM. The plea hearing is scheduled this Monday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Osceola Courthouse. The trial relating to the CSAM is scheduled to begin on Tuesday if a plea deal is not reached. At that time, the jury selection is expected to begin, and opening arguments will start on July 25th, which is that Friday. 13-year-old Maddie Soto was reported missing last year after failing to show up for school at Hunter Creek Middle the day after her 13th birthday party. Her body was later discovered on the side of the road in Osceola County. Kissimmee police said her mom's boyfriend, Sterns, killed her. If Sterns is found guilty on her red rum, he could face the death penalty. All right. And the bottom line of this article is telling you that they're offering Stephan Sterns a plea deal, and I'm 99.9 that he's going to take it. All right. I cannot imagine any other outcome in this situation. All right. So, does anybody have anything to say? I wanted to just make sure I got this out there. I looked up for anything else, but this is actually the breaking news, which is it's kind of a shocker because many people did not want this. I think it was should we look at the let me answer some questions real quick. I hope they make him explain his story of the crimes against Maddie. No Kohberger plea deal. All right, guys. So you guys, we did a poll. I should look at that poll, even though I know we need to start the other case. I should take a look at that poll. And it's up to you guys. If you guys want me to continue covering this and you want to go back on some things, we can certainly do that. But I want you to look, I want to show you the poll. If you want to stay on this case and me play some things about Jen Soto and Stephan Sterns, I certainly can. If you want to move to tonight's topic that's scheduled for 4 regarding a possible serial K in Maine, it's a paddleboarder. Teenager was arrested. I'm not completely buying that the teenager did that. I'm wondering, was it the serial K or was it the teenager? So, okay, so some people say stay on this case. If you want me to stay on this case, put a 1 in chat. If you want me to go to today's regular scheduled program, hit 2. For right now, I'm going to show you the poll. I did a poll a couple of days ago because I asked you, do you think that the state is going to offer a plea deal? Okay, so I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to share the screen with you. And I want to say thank you, Rosie. Rosie Rose 80 for the $1.99 super sticker, and Pepper for being a member for 6 months. You guys know my birthday starts July 25th. My birthday is next Friday when jury selection is set. All right. So it's birthday month, baby. It's birthday month. I see you guys. I see you. Sabrina says, I feel sorry for his parents. They will have to do life with him. They are that decent. I'm sorry, but I don't know that I could be. All right. Hello, everyone from Newton, WV. Okay. I see a lot of people that want to talk about this because I know you guys feel not happy about it. Nancy Jean says, let's discuss Stephan Sterns' plea deal. We won't have time before Monday, which is very, very true. Profe Frere and everybody else, you're absolutely right. We're not going to be able to discuss this case whatsoever come Monday because I will be at work at that time and you guys are 3 hours ahead of me. So let me just take a look at this poll and we can say, okay, we were looking at this and look at the poll. This was 3 days ago. While I was streaming, I typed this up and I said, will the state offer Stephan Sterns a plea deal? 45% said yes. 55% said no. All right. So we're going to discuss this for a bit and we'll go into some of the comments. How about that? You guys let me know. We're going to talk. I want Soto in prison too. We want Jen Soto in prison. All right. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. Okay. So remember, let's look at the comments that you guys left in the poll. 55% of you said, no way, Stephan's going to get offered a plea deal. And 45% of you said yes. Kel said yes, but only if he tells on Jen Soto. Montana Mystic says he doesn't want to take it, but his attorneys will talk him into it. Deborah Rockhill says maybe if he pleads guilty and flips on Jen. All right. Melodrama says he doesn't deserve a break, but Maddie's memory does. All right. Under the Mystic Moon 1111 says they normally offer a plea deal. So I'm going to say yes. Just curious how a plea works with 60 counts. Admit to half and they'll drop half. He's going to be behind bars for the rest of his life regardless. And you're absolutely right. He is. All right. What's up, Written in the Stars? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. You guys come on in. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. All right. If you're new here, subscribe. Sabrina says, I told you they always offer a plea. Not always. Not always. I wasn't that cocky by saying that absolutely they're going to offer a plea. I wasn't, but I was very, very, very convinced with my educated guess and seeing things behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to say, yeah, they're going to offer a plea deal. They don't want to have to put this information out to the jury. What's up, Em? Good to see you, my friend. Happy July to everybody. Blue says, I'm dancing. All right, let me read some more comments there, and then we can discuss this. All right. Yeah, Bluebird says, I thought yes, but now the trial's starting. I'm sadly disappointed. Well, Bluebird, the trial's not starting until Tuesday, but Monday comes. They're going to offer Stephan a plea deal. If he takes that plea deal, no trial will happen again until September, if that happens in the case of capital M. All right. So Deanna says he can turn over Jen Soto, which he can at any time. All right. He knows he's cooked, so he'll take a plea deal. This way, none of the jurors don't have any pictures and no video. All right. Sabrina says in most cases, the defendant will be offered a plea deal to save the family from the trial. Now, we should talk about saving families from trial, you guys. You know why? Because what family has been there for Maddie in the trial? I haven't seen anybody, guys. I haven't seen anybody that has been standing there behind Maddie. There's been no family at court. There have been more people that are on the advocate side that have been at, that you've seen on the news and at the vigils. More of those people have been in the courthouse than anybody in Madeline's family. So I do wonder what's going to happen there. Love the comprehensive coverage. We're in Florida and so thankful for you standing for the most vulnerable. You're very welcome. All right. So I want to know what you guys think. And we're going to keep, but what does Deb think? Have you discussed it? This just came out, Stephanie. We have discussed this and Deb absolutely wants a plea deal. I mean, would you want to have to go to court and see your son's pinky winky? Would you want to have to see the pics of, the oral? Because they're going to have to see those pictures of Maddie giving oral to Stephan. All right. They're going to have to see the pictures of anal happening, the butt play. And Sabrina, I do think he's going to take the plea deal. Absolutely. I've been telling you that. The plea deal starts, it's going to be offered on Monday. All right. So let's take a look. Let's read some more of these. I want to see what you guys have to say. Okay. Only if he pleads guilty to all, death penalty off the table. Okay. This Quack says, oh, it finally came. Genesis says there really can be justice for Maddie. Our hearts are open and broken. If only she could have known the multitude that would gather in love and justice for her. May her death not be in vain, but a warning for this other Jennifer Sotos. That I agree. There's a lot of other Jennifer Sotos. Let this make a mark in Florida and the history, and let it be the harshest. May her death not be in vain. What mother would knowingly allow this to happen? A naive spirit? Please don't blame the victim. Stephan Sterns, like the devil, will deceive, kill, and destroy. Stay strong, Jen and Soto family. All right, there's an unusual one, but it's another one. However, they may not. That's the scariest part. Now, VZ, they may offer, but he really can't take it, because if he does, then he won't be able to fight the death penalty on the second trial because he will have admitted to guilt. I'm not so sure that's the case. Is anybody in Florida that knows about this? We don't know the terms of the plea deal just yet. So I really don't think the prosecution would offer some ridiculous thing that says, oh, we're going to give you a plea deal with LWAP, but we're still going to try you for the death penalty. Or, I mean, just something that you can't imagine. I think it's going to have to be beneficial to both sides. Although I do wish they would think about Madeline Soto, and the family. All right. Again, I don't understand it. I still don't understand it. I still don't understand why and what the circumstances are. You say I pray for prison justice. All right. Now, let's look at some more comments and then we'll see what's happening here. What happened to the 35,000 picks? Is he not getting charged with those? Okay, so Diamond Girl, if you're here, you're asking about, is he not getting charged with those? Yeah, he absolutely is. A plea deal has nothing to do with the 60 counts of SA being taken off of anything. The 60 counts are going to be included into the document and the paperwork that's being offered as a plea. All right, so nothing's going to happen to those. They're just not going to be put out in a courtroom for the jurors and everybody to see. You say, knowing there's two trials, if they offer a plea on the charges, there's still the red rum. Absolutely. And he's facing the death penalty. Mrs. Lady J says, unfortunately, I think so. Stargazer says, probably. Who wants to see all that? Exactly. I don't want to see that. I don't want to read it. I don't want to see it. All right. Debbie says no. Debbie Spinelli says no plea deal. And Tiffany Blue Tarot says they probably will. I haven't seen anything impressive come out of the Florida justice system in recent years. All right, come on in, guys. There's 260 people in here, and I want to know what you want to know. I want to know what you think. They have a plea hearing for both cases. All right. I don't think anybody's going to see any of it, guys. I really don't. I don't think anyone, I think they're going to, and again, we don't know the deals. Stephanie Patterson says, why a plea deal? They have the photos. He can't get out of it. What will his defense be? So I want you guys, there is no defense. If the plea deal happens, there's no defense. The plea deal is Stephan Sterns goes into court and he says, the judge says, did you do that? Do you plead guilty to count 1 through 60, for instance? And he says yes, like Koberger did. Everybody says yes. They sign their papers. They do it. Court's adjourned. Now we wait for the red rum trial. All right. So let's keep looking. Let's get out of this. I want to see if there's anything I mean, the trial is delayed. It's not delayed. He in fact is probably going to take a plea deal. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how it came about, but let me ask you here. Do you guys want to are you guys going to be watching the plea hearing on Monday? I think it's going to be televised. What's up, Truth Finder? And Lori says he's a coward if he does that. I don't know. I want to have a discussion about that, guys, because I think people are just, they want to be, they want that justice, but is it really justice if Maddie's family and Maddie's being re-victimized in a sense by having people see pictures of her? I mean, even the pictures of her autopsy and the trauma that was done to her body is going to come up. You say everyone accepts pleas. Yeah, I feel like when a plea comes out, there it's like it's one of those things that's not spoken with the defense and the prosecution, but there's some back and forths, right? There's back and forth notes and there's back and forth evidence that comes, and it's like an unspoken thing that, okay, this is here, I'm not quite accepting that, and the prosecution sees that there's a weak side to that, and they come together and they're like, okay, we're gonna do yeah, you're right. You say, what about Jen? I want to see her testify. Well, we still have the Red trial number 2. All right. Julie says, does anyone think they'll merge the 2 cases in one plea deal? I do not. I've never seen that happen before, but maybe I'm just naive with the Florida justice system. Heather McDowell says, I don't see him pleading guilty, which is interesting. It's interesting to hear you say you don't see him pleading guilty. But I do think there's a reason why this is happening. And for some reason, I think the reason this is happening is because of what's happening behind the scenes. And I feel like they feel confident. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to give you some breaking news here. I found another one, and let's take a look at this together. And again, we'll discuss it. I want you guys, if I can change one person's mind today about a plea deal being a good thing for Maddie and her family not to have to be re-victimized and not to have to relive all this. If I can change one person's mind that this type of justice for Maddie would be better only in the CSAM case where we have to read about the SEX crimes that happened to her. We have to read about the CSAM. We have to see what things was done to her, what orifices she was raped in, what her body looked like after the fact. All of that stuff is going to be on display for the jurors, and then we're going to get the documentation that we're going to have to read that says all of those horrible, horrible things. I just want one person to see the good side of a plea deal, meaning that we won't have to go through that. All right. And I'm not even a family member, but it feels like I'm being re-victimized, or I'm being I'm sorry, not me, but Maddie's being re-victimized when I read that stuff to you. And then I feel it's very triggering to have to read that stuff. Hello, Mama Pearl. Good to see you. You're here for perfect time. Breaking news. Plea deal being discussed for Stephan Sterns over Maddie's RAPE. And it says the Red Rum trial too, guys. It says it. Let's listen.
We begin with breaking news right now at 5. Stephan Sterns' trial is set to begin on Tuesday of next week, but we've learned about talk of a possible plea agreement. Good evening, I'm Greg Warner.
And I'm Martha Stigowski. Channel 9 Eyewitness News investigative reporter Shannon Butler has been busy working her source.
Did you guys think that was going to happen so fast, everybody? Did anybody really think that was going to happen? I didn't. I was saying 3 days ago, like, hey, do you think it's going to happen? Whatever. I didn't see it coming so quick, but I just want one person to agree that it's going to be justice for Maddie and she won't be re-victimized. Summer Dawn says, I completely agree that Angel needs to be put to rest peacefully, finally. All right. Black Country Bum. Yeah, caught alive. Great to see you, Jay. Greetings from across the pond and back to you, my friend. All right, let's listen close. Here it is. Breaking news, guys.
This is all day long in this story. Shannon, what have you learned?
Well, sources have told me that a plea deal is now being discussed and could happen as early as Monday afternoon. That would mean life in prison for Stephan Sterns on those sexual battery charges and on the possession of child.
Do you hear that? So that's it. She's telling us right then and there what it is. I'm not guessing. She just said it. It could mean life in prison for Stephan for that one deal. Thank you so much, Foxy Amazon, for that Guilty of Crime membership. And hello to Black Country Bum #1. Everyone say hi. All right, Truth Finder, you're very welcome. Let's keep going. This is a big deal, guys. I think these are going to be the trial or trials of the century, of the decade, maybe.
Porn. Now, sources have told me that those discussions have been underway for a few days and that at least some of the relatives of Madeline Soto would be on board with this decision. Sterns is accused of not only raping the 13-year-old, but also of her murder. It would not be only Sterns, but the state attorney that would have to agree not to take this case to trial.
There you go. So it's a discussion between, now we don't know. Did you just hear that right now? We don't know if his defense approach the prosecution, or if the prosecution or the state, whatever you want to call it, approach the defense. They haven't said that yet. So we don't, if the prosecution approached the defense, it's probably more likely it's going to happen. If the defense went to the prosecution and maybe they're trying to do some little sly deal that gets Stephan a better deal, then then there's a difference. There's a huge difference. I don't want to know how Maddie was abused either. I don't want to ever see any pictures. I don't want pictures leaked like in the Delphi case. I did see those pictures in the Delphi case, and I can't get them out of my head ever, guys. Ever, ever, ever will I not see those little girls in the Delphi case unalived. One of them was not dressed. Abby and Livy, no longer alive. All right, Roberta Young, good to see you. Darlene Wolf, I haven't seen you in a while. Have fun. You're headed back to Florida. Hello, hello. Deafening silence. Hello, J Mods chat. Good to see you. All right, breaking news. Here it is.
That trial could mean the death penalty for Stephan Sterns. Now, Sterns is scheduled to go to trial on Tuesday, but a plea would keep the family from a lengthy and very graphic court proceeding. Now, we are also told that could mean a plea for that murder case, too. Nothing has been scheduled online yet for that hearing, but we have reached out to the state attorney's office and to his attorney for information. We have not yet heard back. Now, just so everyone is clear, anything could change before that deal is done. It has to be signed.
Exactly. I'm going to put it on one more time, and then Clark, it's hard for me to get text messages while I'm filming. I'm not sure if you said you texted me or you emailed me, but email is my best bet, my friend. I really am not able to pull up this, my email. I mean, did you email me? You guys, did you email me? Wonder if Jen's not going to be anywhere that she doesn't need to. And I'm not seeing anything from you anywhere. I'm not really sure. I would love if you would email me guilty of crime by J@G. Okay, you sent me an image. I can't do anything with it, my friend. I can't see it. Okay, now I can see it. All right, so let me look at this. Anyone can you send me this, You texted it to me and I can't share it. All right, let me play this and then I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the case docket for this. And it actually says notice of hearing. It says set on 7/21 at 1:30. Judge Keith Karsten, notice of hearing, felony court minutes. I really want to share it, but I can't share it unless you email it to me. All right, I'm going to play it one more time. Nancy Jean says Osceola News reports that the lawyer for the M charge was the one that filed for the plea hearing. Does that mean that the M trial is being pled? Interesting. That's what I want to know. And I can't see it. I can't share this here. So Osceola News said the lawyer for the M charge was the one that filed the hearing for the plea deal. So Nancy, that means that the one that filed was the defense. That means the defense is the one that filed for a plea and for it to be settled. All right. I'm okay with the plea on the Let me play this one more time so I can pull that up. So that makes a huge difference, guys. And I'm so glad we're having a discussion. Okay. Now, just because they're throwing in the M word, that does not mean that they're combining the cases. Let's listen one more time.
News right now at 5. Stephan Sterns' trial is set to begin on Tuesday of next week, but we've learned about talk of a possible plea agreement. Good evening. I'm Greg Warmith.
And I'm Martha Sigowski. Channel 9 Eyewitness News investigative reporter Shannon Butler has been busy working her sources all day long in this story. Shannon, what have you learned?
Well, sources have told me that a plea deal is now being discussed and could happen as early as Monday afternoon. That would mean life in prison for Stephan Sterns on those sexual battery charges and on the possession of child porn.
There you go.
Now, sources have told me that those discussions have been underway for a few days and that at least some of the relatives.
That's interesting. So then, I mean, the way we're hearing it here, and I'm going to pull this up, what MM sent to me, because it's from the actual court. It sounds like, guys, guess that's my answer to my question. It doesn't sound like they're merging the cases, but it sounds like they're talking about a plea for them. And I'm going to pull that up. Gene P, thank you for explaining the judicial process. Hoping to make, you're absolutely welcome, my friend. You guys know, okay. Nancy Jean emailed the story. Nancy Jean, did you email me the story? Did you send it to me in my email address? I don't see it, my friend. Guilty of crime. Okay, so I got the WFTV one. That's the one that I read. All right, let's take a look at this. There's more. And I did get yours, MM. And I do want to say this real quick to you guys. Hold on. If I can pull this up. Oh my goodness. This is breaking news, guys. This is pretty crazy. Let me take a look at this real quick. All right. So, okay. The 35,000 pics were from other sites. Okay. But it was CSAM. So the 35,000 pics were all CSAM related. I did get that next article. Let's finish this. We'll go to the next article and then it's a plea deal for both. That's absurdly no press. Yeah. That one, I don't want to hear that. It's not set for both, guys. I'm going to show you that right now. All right. His parents didn't even know about this yet. Deb just found out about it when I texted her. So she didn't know about that yet. That's what I'm going to say. And Nancy sent me something, but you guys, I may send it to myself because she texted it to me and I can't share that with you. So I got a lot of stuff now to share because everybody's sending me stuff and I barely got here. So we'll just call it this. I got a lot to share. Stay tuned in here, guys. Nancy Jean, it's right there. Guilty of crime by J@gmail.com. Look down. Guilty of crime by J. Guilty of crime, BYJ@gmail.com. All right. So here we go. Let's finish this and then I'll go to that. There are more articles. All right. Listen, Carolette says what? All right. Listen, one more time.
I'm Greg Warmith.
And I'm Martha Sigowski. Reporter Shannon Butler has been busy working her sources all day long in this story. Shannon, what have you learned?
Well, sources have told me that a plea deal is now being discussed and could happen as early as Monday afternoon. That would mean life in prison for Stephan Sterns on those sexual battery charges and on the possession of child porn. Now, sources have told me that those discussions have been underway for a few days and that at least some of the relatives of Madeline Soto would be on board with this decision. Sterns is accused of not only raping the 13-year-old, but also of her murder. It would not be only Sterns, but the state attorney that would have to agree not to take this case to trial. That trial could mean the death penalty for Stephan Sterns. Now, Sterns is scheduled to go to trial on Tuesday, but a plea would keep. Okay, did you hear that? Again, it's not for the red rum case at all. They're just telling you what it's for. They're saying it's going to be a plea hearing to see if they can come together for the 60 CSAM, and the next trial he could be facing the death penalty. All right, so I'm going to share everything I have with you now. A lot of people are I'm trying to cover up the words, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. The family from a lengthy and very graphic court proceeding. Now, we are also told that could mean a plea for that murder case. They just said that. It could mean a plea for the red rum case too. So now let's go. I know, I wish they'd stop using that. All right, let's pull this down. I've got the next one for you, and it's going to explain even more and more as we keep going. So let's get into the hearing
about the plea deal. So this is straight from Florida and the Osceola News Gazette. When you guys text me, I can't pull it up on my phone, but I had to email it to myself. All right, you guys, I love you guys, but text messages are just crazy right now. All right, guys, hit that like button so we can get this in the algorithm more. I did not see that you gifted a Guilty of Crime membership. Thank you. And Nancy Jean, we're going to do this right now. I just found it. I sent it to myself. No, Jen is not going to walk. This has nothing to do with Jen Soto right now, other than she won't have to go and be subpoenaed, and she won't be on the trial. She won't be at the trial. She won't be on the stand. All right, here we go, guys. This is a new one. New hearing, potentially a plea hearing set for Monday ahead of Stephan Sterns' SA battery trial. There he is. Stephan Sterns, the man accused of the R word and taking Maddie's life, Kissimmee teen Madeline Soto, is scheduled to stand trial for 60 counts of CSAM and the battery for a child under 12 and other SEX crimes starting Tuesday. But now a hearing has been scheduled for Monday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The hearing appeared on the court docket late Friday afternoon. I'm going to pull that up next. I have it. While the circuit court has not been released has not released the documents into Tuesday, multiple sources are noting Monday's appearance will be a plea hearing, which could change the schedule of the trial for next week. A notice of hearing for Monday has been issued as part of Sterns' M case, the Red Rum case filed by Beth Borden. Yes, so it was. A notice of the hearing was issued as part of Sterns' case file by Beth Borden, the lead defense attorney in the Red Rum case. That case in which the state has filed to seek the death penalty is tentatively set for September. Now, that didn't change, guys. That didn't change. I don't want you guys to think that all the trials have a plea and we're not going to see him. That didn't happen. No matter what, he still must face God. Absolutely, Sonia Robinson, you couldn't have been any more just spot on. All right, Nancy Jean said, I never prayed for someone to get the death penalty. I heard of the Stephan Sterns and what she endured, and snuffed her light out. Jay, I still believe that they might be trying to catch bigger fish in CSAM circle. Hopefully we'll see Jen in the Red Rum case. All right, the DA will drop potato head Soto problems. All right, let me finish this and then we'll get to the next one. There's a lot. All right, so listen, plea deal set for Monday. Tuesday, the trial will start if a plea can't be reached, and September will be the Red Rum case. Now, Stephan Sterns, 39, originally pled not guilty to the state's charges that he essayed Maddie Soto, the daughter of his then girlfriend, Jennifer Soto, for as many as 4 years. All right. If you guys are hungry, I hope you're not, because look at that. All right. All right. So there is the article number 1. Now we're going to go on to the docket, guys, and take a look at that. All right. Where is the docket? All right. Clark. Let's see if perfect. Clark. Thank you. All right. You think he's going to plead both cases, don't you? That's what you think, huh? All right. Let me get this up. Share screen. All right. Let's take a look at this. And this is the case docket, not the YouTuber, the docket. These are the case docket. These are the files from the docket that you go in there. All right. Now, the prosecutors need to do his job and take this jury to a trial, says Hoosier Pete. And thank you, for sending that. Let's take a look at this docket paperwork. All right. Can you guys see it? Okay. Now look at it. Today's Friday. It's late afternoon. And as you see here, 7:10, notice a hearing. That already happened. 7:14, felony court. You know that happened already. We saw that. Held a motion to be free from physical restraint. Denied motion. Normal writing instruments granted. Felt pen to be provided for the defendant. Testified for Ricardo Rosario. Motion for the court to order all media to adhere to the Florida rule. All right, we saw that last week. Here you go. The 18th. Today, they added on set for 7/21 at 1:30 p.m. before Judge Keith Karsten. All right. Is this all making sense to you? And what do you guys think? What do you think now? What are you thinking of this whole deal? I mean, I feel like there's a split here. All right. He's going to use that head injury and plea temporary insanity and play the victim. Now, he is, in fact, supposed to be using the TBI in his defense, but there will be no TBI in his defense if they take a plea deal. So it can't be very concrete if he's planning on taking a plea deal. And not only is he planning, he's the one, him and his defense team are the one that set the plea hearing to offer a deal, to take a deal. All right. It needs to go to trial to the extent of the crimes Maddie known. All right. Marge Bum says, I hope they're not giving him LWOP for Maddie. I think, Marge, it's going to be LWOP for the CSAM stuff. Roberta Young, thank you, my friend, for the $4.99 super sticker. All right. It's my birthday month, and it's all the Cancers and Leos as well. All right. So there's the docket. Now we have another. There's a whole other clip here. 9. Okay. So we didn't even see this one yet. This is Florida 9. Florida 9. Let's take a look at what they have. All right. Let me take this off, remove. And that's a big one of me. All right. Thank you. Donate. Yeah, we're going to do that too in a bit. All right. You guys can donate directly as well. All right. Let's take a look at what Channel 9 has to say. All right. Share screen. And yeah, this is a good conversation. Definitely a good conversation that we will not be able to talk about next week. All right. Tiff, you're texting me, but it's hard to see what's happening. The Sotos don't want the death penalty. All right, so WFTV stating that the plea would be set for both, takes death penalty off the table. All right, so I'm going to read this right now. So it looks like they are talking about maybe taking the death penalty off the table and pleading for both cases. That I don't want to happen, guys, but if it does happen, I'm going to be with you guys the whole way to follow it through. Annette says, hit the like for Jay, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you for being a member for 7 months. All right, let's read this because this is what we're talking about. Listen, a plea deal for both the CSAM and taking her life. Let's read what they say. All right, I'm not going to look at that yet. Plea hearing set for Madeline Soto, or for Stephan. I'm sorry, plea hearing for Stephan Sterns over Madeline Soto, CSAM, and her life. So they're saying both in WFTV. Kissimmee, Florida, Stephan Sterns' CSAM trial is set to begin Tuesday, but a plea hearing has been scheduled for Monday at 1:30. Could that cancel the trial? The plea deal would cover the S battery and possession of CSAM, plus, it literally says it right here, guys, plus the red rum. Oh my goodness, this is a game changer. This is a different game changer. Carolette, that's my head right now exploding. That is a game changer, my friends. If they are trying to offer a plea deal, I'm going to make this bigger. That is a huge game changer. If they're offering to take the death penalty off of the red rum and get a plea for both, that is not good. That would, in fact, let Jen Soto off of all culpability, everything that she's liable for would let her off because she wouldn't have to go to any trials or see anything. So when people say that they're all for the Sotos to want a plea deal, I can see why, because they don't want Jen to. They don't want Jen to have to go to court. They don't want her out in public. Jay the Italian cookie. Good. I don't want the scumbag to make any money off of anything. Absolutely right. Why even have the death penalty? Oh my God. Well, it looks like they're not. If they can come to an agreement, that's what they're saying here, guys. What they're saying. This is two different things. And I'm glad that you're saying this, just Josie and everybody else, because this is a game changer with what I'm saying right here. Another child has already been failed, but we want complete and utter justice for Madeline Soto. So let me finish this. All right, one more time. Breaking news. Stephan Sterns, the CSAM trial is set Tuesday, but a plea hearing is scheduled for Monday at 1:30, which can cancel that trial. The plea would cover the CSAM possession and charges of him taking Maddie's life in the capital M case. Sources say the plea deal would mean life in prison, as opposed to him risking a death sentence if the case goes to trial. Sources say the plea discussion has been underway for days, and that at least some of the relatives of Madeline Soto would be on board for a plea. All right. That state would have to agree to not take the case to trial. Sterns is accused of raping and taking the life of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, Jen Soto, who's the mother of Sterns' girlfriend, it says. All right. So that's not good. That's a game changer. Let's see if they have that here, or what they're doing here. Let me just take a look at that. They keep saying it's up above, but I don't see it. All right. 9 investigates. 9. All right, let's take a look at this then. All right, everybody, how are you doing there? What are you thinking? What are you guys feeling? How big of a difference is that now to see that there may be a plea deal in both trials? Now, it doesn't mean they're going to combine it by any means. It doesn't mean they're going to combine it, guys. It just means that they're going to take both cases and say, this is the deal. We won't do this. You won't have to go to trial, but you won't be facing the death penalty. All right. So Stephan Sterns plea deal, and I'll look at you guys in a second. Plea deal, WFTV. Let's see what they got. All right. So 1 hour ago, did we watch this one, the WFTV one? I think so. Yeah, I think we did look at that one. That was the one we looked at. All right. So we did pre-hearing set for Monday in the Stephan Sterns case. Oh, here's another one. All right, let's look at another one, guys. I'm going to pull this out. I'm trying to document all coverage. You guys know this is the one of the cases of the decade or the century. Do me a favor, hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. All right, let's take a look at this one. Here's another one. Plea hearing set for Monday in the Stephan Sterns case. Which Stephan Sterns case and what do they mean? All right, next.
Right to it. We're tracking breaking news tonight. A last-minute hearing has been called in the case against Stephan Sterns. He is the man accused of killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is in the newsroom now. Mike, this is breaking right now. What have you been able to find out?
Ginger, literally in the last few minutes, Stephan Sterns' public defender has filed papers with the court saying they are going to be in an Osceola County courtroom on Monday afternoon and that he is going to be entering a plea. Now, Stephan Sterns has previously pleaded not guilty to raping and murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto. So what this suggests is that a plea deal or some other kind of agreement may have been worked out, that Stephan Sterns is now changing his plea. Now, it's important to note that Stephan Sterns was originally going to be put on trial twice. Once for murder.
All right, so they're breaking this down even more, which is good. This just happened. I was driving home. I was in my car driving home. I looked at my phone when I got out, and it said Sterns is taking a plea deal. So everybody, it just kept going. Sherry Hilton says, triggered, gotta go. Sorry, blessed weekend, loved you all. Hey, go take care of yourself. The Sotos did not demand justice. They hid the potato, and that I agree with 110%. That makes no sense, guys. All right. And Summer Dawn, I've been saying that the whole time for the last, 14, 15, 16 months. And I don't want that either, but I do want justice for Maddie. We are not her family members, and we're much better than the Soto part of the family members, in my opinion, because we want justice for Maddie. Cynthia says Jay will try for a plea deal for M also. He can't deal with going into court for anything. They have to force him. He needs a face to the world. I can't deal with this. Yeah, he will plead both. And I'm sorry, guys. I don't want you guys to be bummed, but I want you to know what's happening. All right? I wouldn't be surprised if Jen were saying, don't give him the death. Oh, that's a good assumption, MM Clark, because I wonder if they're asking Jen Soto as the mother, which I'm sure. Remember, Jen Soto was technically a victim, you guys. Technically, Jen Soto is a victim. She lost her daughter violently and all the CSAM. Yes, please stay on this case, Jay. Okay. All right, let's finish this up. This breaks it down even further.
That was going to happen in September. And then next week, he was scheduled to go on trial for sexual battery and possessing explicit photos of that underage girl. Well, now on the eve of that trial, this was supposed to start on Tuesday with jury selection. On Monday afternoon, Stephan Sterns' attorney says, we're going to be in court, Judge. And they're telling the prosecutors this. And according to these paperwork, it's going to be a plea. So it is looking like Stephan Sterns may be changing his plea in this case that all of Central Florida has been captivated by, horrified by, since 13-year-old Madeline Soto first vanished when her mother's former boyfriend claimed that he dropped her off at Hunters Creek Middle School a little more than a year ago. There was a...
Yeah, this is a little more than a year ago. You guys remember Maddie Soto was missing the same day that Sebastian Rogers, and everything just came down to the line. But Maddie's body was found, or they actually saw Maddie. They knew she was no longer alive on those cameras, which again, that stuff is what's going to come out at court. I do not want the taking of Maddie's life, though, guys. I did not want that to go to a plea. But if what happens is justice for Maddie, then that's what it's going to be. There's 420 people in chat, guys. I love you. Thank you for being here. Hippie Chick says, I care about this case the most of any discussed on YouTube. All right, let's continue. There's more. Stephan would be set free in Alligator Lake with a weight on his ankles. Yeah, this is deep here. This is deep because what's going to happen with Jen Soto now? And did Jen Soto sign off on the plea deal? She is technically a victim, folks. Do you think? Put a 1 in chat if you think Jen Soto is a victim. There are people that think that. Put a 2 if you think that she's part of it.
Search for her, that the community was all out looking for this missing teen. Sadly, investigators later found her body in a wooded area of St. Cloud. Investigators, through tons of detective work, found significant evidence that they say proved that Stephan Sterns was the one who murdered her after raping her for years. Now, Sterns is going to be in court on Monday, apparently with a plea change, and News 6 will be there streaming that court hearing live. For now, we are live in the newsroom. Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you, Jen.
You know what's interesting about what I just heard? They literally, I agree with that. She's no victim. To definitely set her daughter up. Okay, she's no victim, but what he just said is interesting to hear. Let me listen to that last part again. Hold on 1 second.
All right. News 6 will be there streaming that court hearing live. For now, we are live in the newsroom. Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you, Jen.
I missed something. Hold on. He said something that I wanted
Sadly, investigators later found her body in a wooded area of St. Cloud. Investigators, through tons of detective work, found significant evidence that they say proved that Stephan Sterns was the one who murdered her after raping her for years.
Oh, my God.
Now, Sterns is going to be in court on Monday, apparently with a plea change.
Okay, a plea change. That's what I wanted to hear. He has a plea change, which is interesting, guys, because a plea change, when we hear a plea change, we hear, oh, Stephan's the only plea change there is either guilty or not guilty. He's already pled to not guilty. So what do you guys think of that now? What if Stephan goes in there and we've already heard there's a plea change? There's only one plea change it could be, either guilty or not. And he pled not guilty. So a plea change means that he's going to go to a guilty plea. How are you guys feeling about this now? And I see you, Amy. You don't think Jen Soto had anything to do with this. So how does it happen? Not guilty by TBI? No, that's not even an option, Jennifer B. It's either not guilty, which he already pled, or guilty. This man just said he's going to change his plea deal. So now we already hear it. We heard it, and how could we look back on that? How could we not think the other way? If he goes to trial now on this and we hear him going to take a plea, what difference could, I mean, I don't get it. So you're betting an Alford plea. All right. Yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense. Linda Glover says Jen is not a victim. She could have protected her child. She was right there in bed. You think she waited to be sent upstairs to abuse Maddie? I don't think so. Jay just drugged up and ignore it. Damn, man. Damn, this is this is game changing for everything if that's what happens. All right, there's a whole nother one too. That just popped up. All right, let's take a look. All of these things are getting ready for Stephan to be in the court on Monday.
The case of a man accused of killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto is expected back in court. Stephan Sterns' trial is set to begin next week. Tomorrow's hearing will focus on two motions. One includes the defendant's motion to appear in court without handcuffs or other physical restraints. Soto was reported missing last year after she did not show up for school at Hunters Creek Middle. Her body was later discovered on the side of the road in Osceola County. Kissimmee police say her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, killed her. Investigators say they found photographs and videos on Sterns' cell phone showing him sexually abusing Soto for years.
All right, so all of those pictures showing him being abusive for years. I mean, what do you think about that? So the people that just came in right now, whoever just came in, you came in.
Focus on two.
You came in at a good time. Stephan Sterns' plea hearing for CSAM abuse and material is coming on Monday, Jody. Now, the trial for the CSAM was supposed to happen on the next week on the 22nd. Juries would be picked. The jury would be picked by the 25th. All right. And hold on, when I'm getting a budget and I'm done. I'm doing a juggling act here, guys. All right, so the Woody Allen comment really shed a light on her knowledge and participation. Yeah, I think most of you guys, Jen can't live with herself. That's why she gets high on her meds every day. But what about her? She doesn't. What about all the witnesses? Where's Thomas Karras? Thomas Karras was set to go to trial, to go to the Capitol trial. Okay, he was set to go to the Capitol Red Rum trial and testify that he saw Stephan near the Maddie's dump site. So what about him? What about Jen? What about all of that? That doesn't make any sense. Now what's going to happen? All right, hold on. One more. Wait up, one more. All right. All right, let's do one more. This is just coming out. Sterns won't make it in general population. I don't think he's going to be in general pop ever, but let's take a look at this. So for those of you that just rolled in late and you said, what is happening, Jay? Here we go. Let's take a look at this. It just keeps coming, guys. It keeps coming, and I think that the plea deal is probably going to happen, guys. So many people don't believe Jen knew, and they think Jen walks. Well, she doesn't have to go anywhere. She's not subpoenaed if there are no trials, guys. Jen Soto, what happens? Do you think I think she's pushing for a plea deal. I think the prosecution asked her, is it okay to have a plea deal? Because what other family has a say so? Ruth, hello, my friend. Sin, thank you so much for the 5 guilty of crime memberships. I did think it would. I didn't want to come on here and be like, I told you so. I never want to say that. And I didn't want this to happen in the Capitol case. He may have to tell the truth about Jen's involvement. All right. In the plea deal, I'm wondering if the prosecutor will ask if Jen was in it. If we're looking at, let's listen to this. If you guys just came in, let's listen to this real quick.
Was in court this morning for what could be his last hearing before he does go on trial.
And Stephan Sterns is accused of abusing Madeline Soto for years and killing her the day after her birthday party. As West 2's Bob Hazen reports, a judge made rulings today on what Sterns will be allowed to do during the trial.
That trial.
So all of this stuff is just It didn't even matter. It's just a waste of court money, taxpayers, all that. Maddie had no choice in her life. Why should he? I agree. It sounds like they're approaching. The defense is approaching the state, and they want a plea deal, right? I'm behind, but go Leos. Yes, happy Leo month. Happy birthday to all the Leos, all the Cancers. Shit, do either one know how to tell the truth? No. All right, let's see. I wonder what's going to happen to Jen now.
Is set to start next week, and we now know that Stephan Sterns will have to wear a leg brace to keep him from running away. And the judge also raised the possibility of having to close the courtroom at certain times.
Nope.
You could hear the shackles clanking as Stephan Sterns walked into court this morning, but when a jury sees him next week, those cuffs will be off. A court deputy testified today about the other options to keep him under control, including a stun cuff they could use to shock him if he tried to run, or a leg brace.
I would say rather a bit more cumbersome because it's strapped alongside the leg of the person, and if they stretch their leg, it'll snap shut.
The judge ruled Sterns will have to wear that brace. He'll also be able to use a felt pin, despite concerns that it could be used as a weapon. Sterns is facing 2 separate criminal cases, one for allegedly murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who was the daughter of his girlfriend. The other is for 60 charges that he raped Maddie for years and recorded video of it on his phone. The trial for that sexual abuse case set to start.
Why do they have to do that? We want people to know that he's taking a plea deal, and they put those words in there. And all right, we know, and you know, it sucks like that because that's what happened to her, and a lot of people are triggered by it. But I think a lot of us saw this coming, guys, and I think this is absolutely a great discussion. We want justice for Maddie. This was happening. These discussions and the whispers were happening last week, and we're gonna talk about is a deal in the works and why we think that and what we think is going to happen with both, because I do want to try to predict it a little bit about what's going to happen with everything now that I have the information to give you a more educated guess. I'm thankful for that.
Next Tuesday, prosecutors warned the court that they will be showing those disturbing images and playing those videos for the jury, and they'll use a TV or a whiteboard to do so.
The state intends to utilize the whiteboard in an effort to prevent other individuals that do not need to see that evidence.
The judge also said it is possible they might need to clear the public from the court when those videos are played, but did not make a ruling on.
Yeah, that's the CSAM stuff, guys. You think Stephan Sterns got cold feet about showing up to a trial with a stun cuff on him and with this pen and people looking at him and him having to sit there while people see what he did to her? All right. I think that plays a huge factor, and I think it scared the shit out of him, guys. Now, Monica thinks that. I think you are saying that Jen Soto is not culpable, but maybe you're way behind. All right, let's take a look at this. This is what led up until and the whispers from around the way. This is why I had a feeling that there was going to be a plea coming, and the fact that
court doesn't defer to a joint motion.
All right, so this is Stephan Sterns' SA abuse trial delayed. Is a deal in the works? Now, this is why we even talked about this, and that's why I speculated that. But I want to know what's going to happen to Jen, and did Jen sign off on a plea deal? Did she have a say so in it? And you guys know that, or you guys think that she still has some weird hold on or tied to Stephan. Now, she doesn't talk to Stephan because we would know about it, and she knows she's not allowed to. But is she pushing for a plea so she doesn't have to go and show up in court? 7/25 is my daughter's birthday. She'll be 19. Happy birthday, Liz, to your daughter. July 25th is my birthday. Leos. When are you releasing the interview you did with Stephan Sterns? Jay, I have to talk to him more. I need to talk. It's yeah. We got a while. I don't think he has any worry about what we talked about just yet. But when this is all over, we'll get some more information on that. Let's think about why we thought a deal was in the works, guys.
To continue. Under this case, I'm a little I need some additional information as to the grounds.
That's what I want to talk about. Let me see.
I understand that, number one, this is that the assistant state attorneys are in high demand, and unfortunately they have a lot of cases that are pending. I also am mindful of the fact that the order.
Now, do you think that this was also better off? Do you think that they're trying to go with a plea because of their resources as well? All right, you say as long as he doesn't get to see the pics, he'll just go back in prison and relive it. Yeah, that's victimizing Maddie all over again. Okay, we didn't know. It's in the plan site. The question is, how didn't she know? Could Jen be talking to Stephan under an alias? I don't think she would chance that. She's not that dumb. She could be. I'll never say. I never am going to speculate something that's being speculated on. So sure, she could be. I don't think so, but she could be. Czarina, my friend. I love that name. Czarina Courtney. What's up, my friend? Hit the like button and then share, right? I think it's what's best for all. Lil Red, I think in the CSAM it is, but I'm still wondering what's going to happen with the potato. Yeah, let's listen to this real quick. Do you guys think it's because of resources? I mean, do you think maybe they were short on resources and they didn't want to spend them? What do you think about this? Because it doesn't feel like it's justice if they do that with the capital case.
On the motion to suppress came out close in time to the pretrial. I'll note that it'll be about 3 full weeks until we.
Okay, so another thing I want to tell you about too. Lucky says CSAM. There's a lot of evidence. The only thing he could do is appeal the phone being taken. Although I'm not surprised he didn't want those images out there, but I don't think he will take a plea for the death penalty. Another thing too is the images that are there. Can you imagine trying to do a trial with all of those images? And I mean, how you can turn the jury, you can turn the pictures only so many ways, right? Yeah, there's a lot of evidence in that, but how is it? I don't understand how it's going to work, and I just can't wait to. Let's keep listening.
Selected a jury on this case based on those factors. The motion to continue, is going to be denied. I will make concessions.
Okay, now I remember what I was going to say. Listen, guys. Okay, so the biggest reason I thought that there was a plea deal in the works, Stephan Sterns did get the documentation for his TBI, right? You remember Wade Wilson with his TBI. It was the 25th hour of his death penalty and the sentencing. And here comes along. We need to check. We still didn't check about Wade Wilson's TBI. The TBI results did not come back for Stephan Sterns yet, and they would not have come back until August. So that will also play a factor in the plea deal, because if they don't do a deal and the trial starts, that could be a huge appellate issue. All right. So yeah, if he plays a plea deal, he loses right to appeal. Lucky says can lose appeal to the state, but still to the Supreme Court, just like BK. But if they already had the results, or they already took the testing for the TBI and the results aren't back, and the judge says, I don't give a crap, you got to go through with the CSAM, and the defense says, but we didn't get the TBI yet, which would mean the jury would see a whole different set of evidence. That's a huge deal. All right. Czarina says, don't press like, even if I can't stay, I know I'd have to love the rest. You're the best. Great aura spirit. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, let's keep going. So TBI is on the table. It didn't come back for the trial. How would that affect an appeal? That's a huge factor.
To when the trial will begin, I think I'd like to begin jury selection on July 22nd. Potential opening statements would, depending on jury selection, be on the 25th, with either the presentation of evidence in an order that accommodates unavailability of witnesses beginning that Friday, or on Monday, July 28th.
Okay, That's the judge from the Stephan Sterns trials. The first one is now delayed.
All right, so this is the CSAM one, and this was just days ago that we speculated is a deal in the works, and the biggest reason that I said that was because of the TBI. Now, many people have TBIs, and they wouldn't do that, just like Wade Wilson. People wouldn't go run somebody over and say, "Oh, I ran him over like spaghetti," and laughed about it and be, courting all these girls on the phone and doing all the things that he did. All right, Deborah Bush says, I got your TBI right here. Clock, turquoise, looking up. All right, let's keep going. Let's hear what Vinny has to say about this. This is going to give you a good idea what's going to happen on Monday, right? Okay.
Stephan Sterns, you may recall, accused of sexually assaulting, memorializing the sexual assaults of a little girl named Madeline Soto for years on his account and ultimately on his phone, then charged with her murder after she went missing and her body was found 20 miles.
I have another case ready, Twinkie, but this was breaking news today. Trial was supposed to start July 22nd, and breaking news came because there's a plea hearing on Monday. I absolutely am going to be covering the case about the 17-year-old boy, but I'm glad you stopped us right here because you guys are here. There's a lot of people here in green, and we're giving away a Foxy box, right, Foxy? I'm also donating to the NMC National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. All right, so we're going to do a donation. Maybe someone will match me. I'm going to donate and give a Foxy box for the month of July for all the Leos. Happy birthday. In honor of my birthday, it's birthday month, July, I'm going to give away, and we're going to give away a Foxy box for all the Leos. All right, let's keep going. So yes, you're right. NCMEC. Yes, NCMEC. All right. I just always forget the acronym. I know the name, it's just the acronym. And I'm like, wait a minute. All right, let's continue this so you can see what to expect on Monday.
Miles from the home. So he's facing two cases, the sexual assault for everything that was found on his phone that he memorialized in the first trial with a life sentence at the end of that. Then following that, a murder trial, which is followed by a potential death sentence. Okay, that's what he's facing. So he had filed a motion.
Right, Jen Soto is not a co-conspirator, and you guys have to be here to win a Foxy box. You also have to be a member. You have to be a green. There's a lot of people in green today, but you gotta have a guilty of crime membership. These things, the Foxy boxes are really nice. All right, a membership is only $2.99 a month. You got to be in green, and you got to be here. All right, so we're gonna be doing that. You just have to be here, and you have to be a member of the official crime crew, which again is $2.99 a month, and it supports the Guilty of Crime channel. All right, here we go. Here's what we're expecting on Monday.
Motion to suppress all the evidence from the cell phone. It was denied. And once it was denied, then the prosecution and defense together were asking for a continuance of that first trial. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Why all of a sudden do we want to delay? What's going on? Now, the defense knows they have no defense. It's over, right? The only defense was not getting this information in front of the jury. It's getting in front of the jury all the pictures of the defendant and the little girl.
Thank you. Yes. Amen, Vinny.
Is he working on a deal?
Yeah.
Is the state attorney working on a deal with Stephan Sterns? Is that possible?
It's very possible. And this was 4 days ago, approximately the time when they started this. Now, remember, we were watching court earlier this week, and we speculated with all the things going on and the motion to suppress evidence being denied. We said, where is Stephan going to go with this? How can his team come up with a defense so fast? Period. That's not possible. That's not possible. And I don't think it is. And that's why I believe we are where we are.
We're going to have another one of these where we use the death penalty as a negotiating tool rather than as a punishment. Let's bring back in our think tank. Al Murd3r is with us. Jennifer Brandt and Darnell Crossland. Do you smell something funny going on here, Jennifer?
I certainly do, Vinny. I think they're definitely working on a deal because, like you said, he has no defense now. The pictures are out there. We know what he did. It's on his phone. It's memorialized. So what is he going to say? Someone else put them there. They're fake. I mean, there's not much he can say. So, maybe they're working on a deal overall to try to
wrap it all up, right?
Now, I do want to get the evidence after. I want to be able to get FOIAs, etc., because I really want to just know that Maddie wasn't pregnant. All right. I want to know what happened in what her toxicology report says. And thank you so much, Murd, for the Guilty of Crime membership, and Low Red for being a member for 11 months together, Guilty of Crime. Yes. All right. I do want to know all of these things. I don't feel like it's closure for any of us that have been covering the case, following the case, whatever it is. I don't feel like that if we don't get answers.
Wrap up the murder and the years and years and years of sexual assault of this little girl.
Just like we saw in Idaho. I mean, I don't think it's much different. We just saw this happen. It's probably they're taking one out of that playbook and trying to work out a deal for him.
Yeah, I mean, both sides here, Al, were asking for this continuance. It wasn't just the defense, both sides. Usually that, this date has been set. The judge did not give the full continuance. He only gave a week. What are your thoughts about what's going on here? Is it really just time to prepare for this trial?
It's definitely they're coming up with some sort of a universal settlement to this matter. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that's what they're doing. If they were not doing that, the prosecution would not be consenting or making a joint application for the extension. Obviously, they don't have a problem putting forward their case in the sexual assault aspect of this with the phone coming in. I mean, the case is solid, but the question is on the next aspect, the murder case, whether or not, there may be some cause for pause that they may be having, that they're saying, you know what, we can wrap this whole thing up. We can get a guilty plea.
Well, here's the thing. They want a guilty plea. We want something different. Sabrina, thank you so much for the one Guilty of Crime membership. Whoever got it, that means you can be able to win a Foxy box. All right. Now, April Overshare says not pregnant according to the autopsy, but I wonder if she had ever been. That I don't know if that's ever going to come out. I don't think anyone's ever going to say it. Beth Toller peed off about the plea. Love Guilty of Crime member for 9 months. Thank you so much. All right. And I did put a link to get memberships. I don't think the mods saw that. If you guys can drop a link to the memberships for everybody, that would be great. I just put one up, but I'm not sure if you saw that. Okay. Somebody fairly asks, is he going to take a plea deal? What do you think? With all of the evidence that we now have out there and the motion to suppress denied, do you think he's going to take it? Yes. You know why? Because his team is the one that proposed it. The defense is the one that scheduled a hearing for Monday to discuss the plea deal. All right. And yeah, absolutely. I can't put that up there too long, what it says, but Prof. Yes, I don't think Maddie was pregnant. I think Stephan tried to, and then it went too far. All right. This is Kawasaki. Here's the thing. He was hoping that the illegal search and seizure of his phone and contacts worked in his favor. If it worked in his favor, we would not be seeing any kind of plea deal at all. All right. What's up, Ellie Kelly? Good to see you, my friend. All right. Let's keep going. This is what you're going to expect on Monday. Defense has no defense.
In both, and then we can move on. So I think that may be the situation in here in this instance.
Darnell, the first charges are a life sentence. I don't know what his defense is. Like, they're going to take the images from his phone and let the jury look at them, and it's a little girl being...
Yes. Yes, little misfit, a plea deal. You say, is it a plea deal, or is he going to change his plea to guilty? That's what a plea deal is. That's what this plea deal is. His defense filed for a hearing to discuss a plea deal for him to change his plea to guilty. He already pled not guilty. Now he wants to go and say, I'm guilty for the CSAM stuff. What can you offer me? All right. So those two things are exactly the same. We're all saying the same thing, a plea deal to change his plea to guilty. Now, we can't unhear that, unfortunately, because if he doesn't take it, we're like, wait a minute, he already said he's guilty. How could he not be? And how can we go to trial when we know that? So why would they wrap it in the second charge? I don't understand that. I don't think they're wrapping it with the second charge. I think those implications are happening, but we haven't heard that yet. And his brain injury result is not back until August. So if they were to have the trial next week, it's a huge appellate issue. All right. Prosecution doesn't have to offer a plea deal, and the judge doesn't have to accept it. You're absolutely right. And that's why we're speculating, guys. Do you think now that, okay, here's the question. Do you think the state is going to accept the plea deal that the defense is offering? Thank you, Nat, for the one guilty of crime membership. Thank you. Len, don't forget to get your membership. That way you can be a winner. All right. All right. You say he's not going to plead. He's a narcissist. Narcissists never take accountability, and they never admit they're wrong. They blame it on the victim. He even said it to his parents. He didn't start it. All right, let's keep going. Here's what to expect on Monday and why.
Sexually assaulted, both in still images and videos, and it's his phone, it's his genitalia, and it's a little girl, and it's over the course of years. Life sentence. If he gets an offer of a life sentence or 2 consecutive life sentences, I don't know how he could turn it down. Because at the other end is the death sentence. Do you think there is a potential deal at work here?
Well, there's always a potential deal at work. The prosecution is
not if you have a prosecutor who believes in using the death penalty for punishment rather than for a tool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of these prosecutors, we've covered this on these shows where the prosecutors will start to negotiate and not man up and take it straight to the gate, as they say. In this particular case, first of all, let's not get confused with a motion to suppress to say that because that was denied, that means everything is coming in. Because as lawyers, as a prosecutor, you have to be able to move evidence in, and that takes some skill in how you move it in, when you move it in. So just because the judge didn't suppress it doesn't mean it's going to be moved in, right? And so when the judge says, listen, it's unusual to deny a joint application for continuance. He said that. He said, but I'm going to do it.
See, he denied it and said we're going full force. Everybody's sweating bullets, including the prosecution. They didn't know. They barely got a motion to suppress denied right now. But again, they did testing for a TBI and it didn't come back. So I think they're using bargaining chips here, guys. And it sucks that it's being used as a bargain chip. And I really hope that we're able to hear ultimately the things that we need to know to feel like we got closure. But if I never get closure, as long as Maddie gets the justice she deserves, and Jen, I don't know what's going to happen with Jen Soto at this point, how it's going down. I don't know. I can only speculate, but it's not good. We're not going to see her at the courthouse. I'll tell you that. Only the depths of ocean could satisfy me. Bottom scam of the seafood. All right. I think he's trying to delay the case because this is why it's not already available. But they're looking to, I don't think that's going to delay the case here. Okay, listen, real quick. Listen what's going to happen. Monday comes. Defense comes in, state comes in, and it's like they're going to have a discussion about the plea. They're going to use their bargaining chips. If it doesn't work, the trial starts the next day on Tuesday. Then by the July 25th, they will have the jury and trial will start full force on Monday. All right. So this is not going to delay the trial. If it doesn't get approved, it's go time on Tuesday. And that's why I think this plea deal is going to go through on Monday.
I'll give you some trial concessions later. He's saying that I don't like what's happening here either. We're going to move this thing either to a settlement or we're going to try this case. But I'm not going to have you guys cozying up and doing some things that I don't support. So that's what I got from that. Now, in terms of whether in fact there's negotiation here, the death penalty is the ultimate. And a lot of people politically don't like it. Al doesn't like it. So if they can say, hey, you're going to die or you're going to take life in jail.
Yes. Are you going to die or take life in jail, are you going to go on the death penalty and not get weekly hot meals? You're not going to get your root beer barrels. You're not going to get your play with your origami. You're going to be in the cell by yourself for 23 hours a day, which he already is now, but he has people that are across the way he talks to. PJ Vision, shout out to PJ Vision, everybody. That's a Dolly's lady. There's Dolly Vision and there's PJ Vision. She says, I knew he would plea. It was him and his defense that brought up the plea deal. So you're right. You're correct. He wants to plea. Now we need to find out from the state if they're going to accept, and then they negotiate, and then they'll come together. That's what's going to happen on Monday, guys. If it doesn't go down Tuesday, trial starts, jury selection begins.
It is a political, a negotiating tool. And so if they can do a global dispo for the murder and that, one life is one life. These pleas where you have or sentences where you have 10 lives just don't make any sense. You only get one. So a natural life is, if he gets that, that's it. Not the 40 or 60-year life that some state has.
No, this is real. You do the time in Florida. Florida, unlike other states, you do the time. You get the sentence, you're going to do the time. Al, you were scowling.
It's interesting. Nancy Jean, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Lead prosecutor was to resign after this case. The case is short. The state is shorthanded. They asked to continue last week, but they weren't ready to go. So that's why I'm wondering, is it a combination of being shorthanded? And remember, guys, a lot of the people in their department also got busted for racketeering. I don't know who or what level of law enforcement. It wasn't his defense team, but it's still a big part of the law enforcement that got arrested for racketeering, including Marcos Lopez. So I wonder if any of that affects any of the other ones. And yes, please do not attack others in chat. I don't even know what's happening, but we do not attack others for a difference of opinions. Please and thank you. Carolina Hurtado says, Jay, remember I told you last week the state was going to offer a plea deal at the very last minute in Florida. Experience told me it was going to happen. Thank you. Yes, I do. There was a lot of people that speculated that and a lot of people that speculated the opposite. And yeah, shout out to PJ Vision and say hello to Dolly for us. Say hello to Dolly and PJ. You can attack me now. Roar. Now, we don't want to attack anybody. Right? This is so bizarre that it already transpired from it. It makes me wonder if they actually know what they're doing. I think so. I think they had a real sneaking suspicion by the time they were in court. That's why we're even talking about it.
I believe.
No, it's scaling only because this aspect of it. I mean, it is a tool, and it is a tool that should be used effectively. And if you can guarantee that there's going to be no appeals and nothing else down the line, then they've got this man locked up forever. And he's gone and he's done. Okay. It is a worse situation to be sitting in that prison than even a death penalty in some instances.
Nobody.
Especially when you have that kind of crime against a small child. He's going to be very popular in general population.
But,
so under the circumstances, you know what? I would be, if I was him, I'd be asking for the death penalty rather than living what he's going to be living for the rest of his life.
Jennifer Brandt, I got to give you the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good life, guys, and it's going to be even less so depending on which way they go. I think he knows that, and he doesn't want to be in there in trial with people looking at those photos of him and Maddie. So we just have to pray that the justice system does justice for Maddie and doesn't let Jen get away with this crap. They hold her accountable to some extent, because now we're not going to see her if they take plea deals and wrap everything up like the Chris Watts. We're going to be living on Soto Island. And I'm not going to be living on Soto Island. I'll wonder, but I'm not going to keep going back to this. We have so many cases to cover. So we want to focus on justice for Maddie right now. Carolette says, don't make me cry. We don't want to make you cry. All right. Yeah, she did. Lucky says, didn't Deb say she wanted him to take the death penalty because she was worried for security? Well, he doesn't get a chance to take the death penalty, but she says that she would prefer the death penalty so that nobody has to see all that stuff. The only acceptable deal will be if the dirtbag gives up Jen. Yeah, basically, we need answers to our questions. All right, let's finish this, and then we're going to give things
Thanks,
away.
Vinny. I don't agree with Al there. I mean, the death penalty is death, and this little girl is never coming back. So, I mean, he can go to prison, and there are people that manage very well, it appears, in prison, and they still have a life, and they still can learn and do things, and create things.
They have good days. They have bad days.
Vinny's like, all right, stop talking now. Stop talking now. All right, Miracle Hearts, good to see you. I know, Miracle Hearts, you are all about the Delphi case. I wonder how you feel about that now. Did Richard Allen really is he the guy? I think so. Chris is going live, saying making a plea deal for both cases. That's well, we looked at it, and that's not the case. That's not the case. They're speculating that, but that's not the case. All right, thankfully, we'll never be free again. Either way, justice for Maddie. All right. We need to bring the electric chair back. I agree. John says a plea hearing comes before any trial. It's where he will be asked how he pleads. Yeah, but listen, John, I appreciate you saying that. And yes, it's a technicality, a formality, whatever you want to call it. But this is much different. The defense has actually approached to have a hearing regarding a plea deal and him changing from not guilty to guilty. So this is a little bit different than that because of that. And Soto Island, the death penalty's death. You learn something old every day. Yep, Richard Allen's guilty as charged. All right, guys. All right, you guys are all here. Hit that like button. Put a comment down there. Make sure that you're in green so that we can give you a Foxy box. If you're not in the country, we still have giveaways. All right, we still have giveaways, and I'm going to donate. And if anyone wants to match me or donate on your own to missing and exploited children, you can do so. All right, I didn't get prepared, but let me pull up this live. You guys get ready. Make sure you're entered into it. If you're not, hold on. If you didn't make a comment or you're not green, then you won't be able to win a Foxy box. All right, so let me do this before I pull it up. You can watch me load the comments up, and we're going to give away a Foxy box. Is that right, Foxy? You ready? All right, share screen. You think I'd be a pro at this by now, huh? You think I'd be a pro? I'd be able to do this with my eyes closed. All right, guys. Once I hit continue, we're going to count down. You're going to win a Foxy box. And then if you don't, we're going to donate to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. All right. NCMEC. All right, let's go. Fingers crossed, guys. All right, someone's going to win a Foxy box. It's not easy being green. I can't believe we've been here for an hour and 37 minutes, guys. I literally didn't come on here to stream to that today. But Kristen Graham, if you're a member and you're in the United States, then you're going to win. All right. Kristen Graham, where are you, my friend? Micah says arrest Jen Soto. Justice for Maddie. Fingers crossed. Well, I don't know where Kristen is here. Kristen says yay. And Kristen, are you in the United States? She is a member. She is a guilty of crime member. You did win the Foxy box as long as you're in the U.S. That way we can ship it over there. You have a chance, my friend. We just got to get you a membership gifting. Kristen is here and she's green. All right. Go to missing this. It's sad when I have to direct families to go. I know. Hobby says X. All right. So yes, you're in Louisiana. Yes. All right. Let's get justice for Maddie. Let's get you over there. Foxy, can you tell her where to go to get that? Arrest Jen Soto. All right. So we won a Foxy box. Oh my goodness, Ashton, you're late. You're so late. It's better late than never. All right. We just gave away a Foxy box. And trust me, Kristen, you will not be disappointed. You will not. I'll tell you that right now. But it is July. It is the birthday month for Cancers and Leo. So a happy birthday month. I'm going to do this now. We're going to go over to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And I'm going to donate. And hopefully you guys follow me in that. Do it yourself. I would rather have you guys do it, and that way you know exactly where every penny, every cent is going, and I know where mine goes. Okay, So let's get here. I'm going to pull you up here, and then we're going to donate. I'm donating to them to say happy birthday for all the Leos. All right. Going to do whatever God wants to do, and that's that. I agree. All right. I haven't seen Grish in a while. I think he was on someone's channel the other day. I don't know. I don't keep track of that. I try to stay out of the YouTube streets when I'm not YouTubing. Right. Well, Honey Badger doesn't give a fuck. I didn't say it. All right. Can you guys drop the link for NCMEC? I'm going to donate right now so you guys can see it. Obviously, I'm not going to put my credit card on there, but we're going to donate $100 right now for my birthday from Guilty of Crime. All right. Oops. You did not want to see that. I'm going to have to pull that down. That's not good. That's not good because those people will be like, all right, let me pull this down. I don't want to have something fill it out, but it comes up like that. So let me remove this for a second. I'll pull it back here. Yeah, the YouTube streets are rough. They're rough. And when I hovered over this, it started coming up, and I'm like, wait a minute, we don't want to do that. So I'm going to do it under Jay Scott with Guilty of Crime. Yeah, the YouTube streets are rough. Guilty of Crime by Jay@gmail.com. Once I hit it, I'll share it with you guys. But I don't want it coming up with my information or anyone's because other people use my computer and I wouldn't want to show anybody's anything. 5391. All right, there we go. And would you like to receive? All right, tote bag, shipping address, leave a comment. All right, I'm going to leave a comment. Happy birthday month to all the Leos. And may we all donate to the NMEC. NCMEC. I hope you guys are dropping links there. All right. I wonder if they're gonna. Let me just show this to you real quick. All right. Yeah, the YouTube streets are rough. You guys, super rough. All right. So there it is. There's the one-time donation of $100. I do not have a PO box just yet, but let me do this. Let me finish this so I can show you. All right. Happy early birthday. Happy birthday, you guys say. I got to pull this down so I can put my credit card in there. I'm not going to share my credit card with everybody. I can't do that. All right. So let's see if they go with this. All right. I'll show it to you when it's done. I don't want to show all my info. All right, to go. You guys are funny in chat. All right. Anybody else have the link? Anyone else want to donate right now? All right. Continue. Cancel. Come on. Great. Whatever. So 2700. Stay here, guys. Stay here, please. I just want to send this money over and be good to go. All right, so we're going to try it, see if it goes this way. Continue. Please go. I don't want to have to do this over. All right. And it should be there right now. Okay, here it is, guys. Let me share it. Add to stage and donate now. I put all my information in there. Hopefully it goes through because I didn't get a chance to go transfer funds. And let's see. Did it go? There you go, guys. There's a copy of my receipt. Guilty of Crime. One-time donation, $100, and then a $5 service fee to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. All right. If anybody else wants to donate, please do. Kristen says, if you send a free book, Jay, for your birthday, I can send it to your Gmail. Okay. Yeah. Send me at guiltyofcrimebyjay@gmail.com. Will you do me a favor and send it to guiltyofcrimebyjay@gmail.com? And you are very generous lady to even donate. Think of the chair. I always think of the National Missing NCMEC. I always think about that. And I always think about John Walsh. And I always think about how Adam Walsh was decapitated after he was kidnapped. It's so heartbreaking, guys. Yeah, he's just a coward, so he'll take a plea deal. All right, so if anybody else wants to go donate to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, I'm going to put the link up for you guys. And I would much rather prefer that you guys go donate to them than to me or anywhere else. Just go over there, donate. Adam Walsh went missing on July 27th, and I just can't stop thinking about Adam Walsh and John Walsh and everything that happened. The 27th is my anniversary as well. My anniversary will be my 20-year anniversary together with my wife and 17 years married. 17 years ago on July 27th, we were able to get married in this Santa Clara County in California, and then they overturned it. We were already married, so they turned it back. But I always think about John Walsh, Adam Walsh, all that stuff. So yes, I remember when Adam went missing. I was a little kid, but I remember it. My mom was very upset and scared. It was it's a good anniversary. It's a good anniversary. Since you guys are kick-ass angels. All right, we shall see, but don't be surprised if the pleads guilty to CSAM, but no M if Jen played a part. I hope that they don't do a plea deal in the M case, but that's all speculation. All right, all speculation right now. All right, guys. Thank you, Ali Kelly. Yeah, 20 years, 17 married, 20 together, and 2 beautiful, wonderful children out of the whole deal. So I think I got the good deal. All right. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I am still going to cover the other case. I'm wondering who's going to be around tomorrow. I know I don't normally stream on the weekends, but I'm thinking about streaming tomorrow because next week, the birthday shenanigans begin at the end of the week and then the following week. Are you guys, who's going to be around tomorrow and what times do you want? What times do you want? I have the next episode of either serial killer or teenager, and I have a super deep dive on it. Michael Vaughn. Yeah, that's a trippy one. The Michael Vaughn, they call him Monkey. I don't know what happened to that. You said you'll be around 4:05. I missed a Friday chat. You'll be here tomorrow. So what time do you guys think if I go on here tomorrow at 4 p.m.? Would you guys want that? You want it noon, 1 to 2? Yeah, I'm in California, guys, so I'm 3 hours behind all of you East Coasters. Probably the afternoon, more like 4 o'clock. All right, I guess I'll do it for 4 p.m. like I always do. That should be good. Thank you so much for covering. You're welcome, hippie chick. All right, 4 p.m. I'm going to push that stream from today to tomorrow. And yes, Simone, breaking news. They knew it all along. It's theater and politics. Whatever you want to call it, it's come down to the wire. And here we go. All right, I'm going to schedule this for tomorrow, 4 p.m., 8 hours for us in the UK, you say. I love you guys. Congratulations for those you who won a Foxy Box. So it would be 7 p.m. for you tomorrow, 4 o'clock my time, 7 p.m. your time. I'll go ahead and schedule that right now. MM Clark says July. We are July 27th too, Jay. All right. So that's your anniversary too, MM. That's awesome. All right. So we have lots to celebrate for July. All right. So you guys, please do me a favor. Come back tomorrow, 4 o'clock. It's a date. Let's get this case covered. Let's talk about this 17-year-old boy that was arrested. We're going to deep dive this guy, but we're also going to look into the New England serial killer. All right. And Ashton, I second you in that. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. We've been here for quite some time now. Love you all. And I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you guys. Peace out.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.